alcohol stove out of this aluminum water bottle. I picked this up at the dollar store, and I think it's a pretty good buy. It's fairly large. We'll see what kind of a alcohol stove we can make out of this. Show you what I did here first was I took a Sharpie and this box, which is 1 5/8 inches tall, and I marked a line around the bottom half, flipped it over, took the cap out, did the same thing on the top half. Okay, the next step, what I'm going to do is take my Dremel with the cutting tool and cut around this line here, like this. But I'm going to finish this outside so I don't get aluminum dust all over my house. Okay, so I finished cutting these out with the Dremel cutting wheel. You can see it's pretty rough. After using that cutting wheel, there's lots of pieces hanging off and jags, and it's a straight cut, but it's rough. So what I'm gonna do, you can either take a piece of sandpaper and sand it like that, or what I have here is a sanding block. Got this at the dollar store. You can also get them at a hardware store. And I'm just gonna use this to clean up the edges here. So I'm gonna work on both of these, get the edges nice and smooth, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I've already cleaned up the top of this one pretty good. I'm still working on this one. I'm just going to show you what works best. What I found is you want to actually use a twisting motion when you're doing this, because it doesn't work very well that way. So you want to twist on your piece of sandpaper, and that's what I found works best to even out and clean up the surface of this here. Okay, you can see I've cleaned up the surfaces here on these two parts of what we're going to be making the stove out of. And the next step is going to be to take my Dremel again, and I put this little stone wheel attachment on here. And what we're going to do is grind out little half circles around this. We're just going to do 4. One here, 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 and here. And what that is going to do is when we insert this in here for the alcohol stove, we're going to pour the alcohol into this middle part, and that's going to let it seep into the outer chamber. Okay, so I changed my plan a little bit. I'm just going to do the 2 grooves here. You can see they're not very deep. They're not even a full half circle. They're just basically a little groove for when this is flat down to the bottom here. It's going to let the alcohol seep through. Next step we're going to do is insert these 2 together here, and what I'm going to do is just take my little box here. You can use a piece of wood or whatever you want, and I'm going to go get a rubber mallet and just kind of pound down on this evenly until these 2 are fitted together. Okay, so I fit my 2 pieces together here. I ended up using a piece of wood so I didn't mess up my little box, and a hammer. I flipped them upside down, put them together, put the wood on there, and hammered it down. And hammered it, around the edges here. Boom, 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 to make sure it was seated perfectly in there. And if you cut your pieces good and straight and the same size, they should fit perfectly together. Next step I'm going to do is take a Sharpie and mark 16 holes evenly spaced around here. And you want to make sure you mark your holes below this point here on the other side, so you can kind of see when I fit them together it got bent out at that point. Make sure it's underneath that point. I'm going to mark those holes and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I marked where I'm going to drill my holes with a Sharpie. These are 1/2 an inch apart, and and there's 16 holes. Depending on the size of the water bottle you use will depend on how far apart these are, but on this water bottle they're 1/2 inch apart. Now I'm going to use a 0.75 millimeter drill bit that actually fits in my Dremel tool, and I'm just going to drill out where I've marked for each of those holes. And this is about the same width as a needle, but this is probably too thick of aluminum to use a needle on, so you will want to use a drill bit. Okay, so I went and I drilled out my little holes, which is where the flames will be coming out on this stove. With my Dremel tool, I drilled that out. You can see I messed up on a couple of them. That's okay. I still made sure the holes were good, and I might have just made the outside a little bit ugly. The stove will still work fine. Next thing I want to do is take some alcohol. This is denatured alcohol. You can use rubbing alcohol or whatever. And a paper towel, and I'm going to just clean off the Sharpie right here. This is optional. I'm just doing it so you can see. Put some alcohol on here. Alcohol will take permanent marker right off of a lot of things. That's something that's pretty good to know. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use this alcohol stove here. It takes denatured alcohol as fuel, and I put mine in this little container here just for easy storage. This is about 2 ounces. You just dump the whole 2 ounces, or however much you want to use, but I'm going to be showing you 2 ounces into the top of the stove here. And then you just take a lighter, matches, whatever, light it like that. I'm going to turn off the lights so you can see the flames better. Now you let it burn like this until you see flames start coming out of the side holes that we drilled. Okay, we're starting to see some flames coming out of the side holes we drilled. Those other holes should light up. See what's going on here. There we go. Get those to light. Okay. So that is lit. Those burners are going. Now all you have to do is put your pot on, and you can cook. We're going to do a little boil test here with this alcohol stove that I've made out of a water bottle from the dollar store. This is 2 cups of water starting at room temperature. We'll see how long this stove takes to bring 2 cups of water to a boil. That's 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, there's boiling temperature, 212 degrees.